Welcome to the commentary booth where we watch and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator Jamie Ups, and each week I'm joined by a rotating cast of color commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week I'm joined by a freelance social commentator who lists their favorite movie as American Psycho and favorite TV show as Yellowstone. Welcome back to the show, Blake Robinson, looking very un-cowboy-like this week.
That'd be Mike. Uncowboy like, you reckon?
Well, the shirt's very cowboy, the hat not so much.
Oh, that's as cowboy as a hat's going to get without being a cowboy hat. Look, I'm fresh from being out in the bush all weekend. The great New South Wales town of Mudgee. Just a bit of fresh country air. Does a world of good. Recommend it to anyone.
Just a random weekend getaway?
Yeah, went for the race that stops a nation on Friday, the Mudgee Cup, the time-honoured Mudgee Cup.
Of course you did.
And just did as the locals do. You know how it is.
I should have known there was some form of horse racing involved.
Oh, of course. We're very hot, which got me prepared for the week ahead.
No rain?
Oh, no rain.
Just hot. Lucky
you.
You.
Know what I've noticed? You know what I've noticed? And I've noticed it for a few years now. Summer doesn't muck around. December,
especially out west,
cooking.
Especially out west.
Week, look, we're day 4 now. Oh my god, this whole week's gonna be 30s. Like even when it hits spring, it's sort of like the chill sort of wears off, then boom, you got 24 and sunny every day.
Yeah,
I think the only one is winter. Just winter doesn't hurry up, does it? It just works its way in. But they've nailed this calendar business, haven't they? It's fine.
This summer's going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy hot.
Yeah, luckily I'm a beach guy now, so he'll find me at the beach every day. Did today, will tomorrow. The hotter it gets, the wetter I get, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to my Queensland trip in the end of February, early March, but I'm also not looking forward to it being hot and humid up there at that time.
Going to Queensland in summer is cheating, I reckon. Like, because you go to Queensland in winter and it's like summer weather, so it's almost like a waste of leaving nice summer weather down here to go to even more summery summer weather up there when it's always summery.
Yeah, well, I don't really have a choice. I'm not going up there just because I want to on that weekend.
Oh, can we just quickly before you've got another Dragon Ball Z jersey on today, as requested last week.
Yeah, this is Goku.
That one's sick. I need one. I'm obviously a Dragon Ball Z fan as a kid, watching like Cheese TV and that, but like I'm not as into it as some others. But I would rock that.
Yeah, what other ones you got? So I got the Goku, and then the other one is Frieza.
That's right. And it's all it is just Dragon. It's no others. It's just a Dragon Ball Z jersey.
Yep, it's like a soccer-inspired Dragon Ball Z jersey.
Man, if I had like a Wednesday night indoor soccer or futsal comp, I'm done. My team's rocking them with like a black short, like a white short, even.
Yeah, 100%. You just get the gold shorts.
Oh, bro. Almost black and gold team now to do that.
just to rock up and
to rock the Dragon Ball Z jersey. They're so good.
And then you've got to do the Ginyu force pose every time someone scores.
Maybe Santa will bring me one. Maybe Santa listens to the show when he'd be a podcast guy. Surely when he's running around the world in his sleigh. Do you reckon he's got a potty on?
You'd think so.
In the workshop.
That's all I listen to in the car.
Yeah, you gotta. You run out. You get sick. Otherwise, you get sick of the music you're listening to. You don't appreciate it anymore.
Did you get your Spotify Wrapped?
I did get my Spotify Wrap.
Mine was
first
pathetic.
year ever. All 5 top artists were country. Swept the boards.
Wow.
So pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
What was yours? What was your top genre? Or
alt rock. A Day to Remember was the top artist.
Cheers.
Limp Bizkit was number 5.
Nice.
Linkin Park was in there.
Of course.
Like it was
very. If it wasn't.
It was very obvious mine.
Maybe
but I only had like
Beartooth
2,500. Nah, I only had like 2,500 hours listened.
Oh, I think I had like 36,000 hours.
Yeah, because I listen to podcasts all the time. The only time I put Spotify on is when I've run out of podcasts to listen to.
Yeah. I assume your top podcast was the Commentary Booth. If
I
it
don't know,
wasn't,
'cause
it is.
I don't listen to podcasts via Spotify, so it doesn't show up.
They are. What do you use?
I use Overcast, which is a podcasting specific app.
See, I've got a friend who uses Spotify like religiously for music, but he listens to all these podcasts on Apple. It's strange.
I guess it probably had them all on the Apple Podcast app
Yeah.
or on iTunes before they then separated it out into podcasting being its own app.
I do need to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, I just use Overcast because it syncs across all of your devices. So if you're like partway through an episode, when you go to the next device, it knows exactly where you're up to.
I wish YouTube and Spotify did that, because I'll be like 2 hours into, because I'll try to watch a lot of podcasts on YouTube, the ones that record. It's just like it's a viewing experience more than like there's some podcasts I listen to. You miss so much if you just listen to it.
Yep.
When it's like they're sitting there and you're watching them, it's just so much more to it. It's just a better experience. But sometimes I wish I could, like, if I was like 2 hours, 2 minutes and 46 seconds in on YouTube, I could just listen to the last half an hour in the car or something. That'd be good.
Yeah, because unless you've got YouTube Premium, you have to have the video open.
It's honestly, I'm
YouTube.
close to signing up. I'll spend 18 hours a day on YouTube. I should have it.
If you spend that long on there, it's 100% worth it. Like
I know. Out of everything I've subscribed to, I think YouTube should be the one, the priority that I pay for.
Like, no ads is awesome.
Oh,
I did the free trial, and I think I got like 2 or 3 months of free, and like to be able to like listen to them with just audio and like actually lock your screen still was amazing.
Yeah, that is the big one, because I got heaps of songs like saved on YouTube. I'd be mad if you could just lock your phone and listen in the car.
Yeah, but you just hit play, lock the screen, and it keeps going like it's Spotify. It's great.
It'd be definitely one of them things like flying business class. So like you got to be careful. If you do it once, you're not going back.
Yeah,
you're not going back to all the ads again.
Yeah, when my free trial ran out and the ads came back, I was like, "Oh, this sucks. Ads are annoying."
Shit.
Especially the ones that pop up like midway through a video. You're like, yeah.
I know. Anyway, that was very, very off topic.
Well, not really. Like, if we won Squid Game, YouTube Premium would be one of my top purchases. Straight up, I'm buying a whole year of YouTube Premium.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I wouldn't think of like things like that, little niche things like that.
Yeah. So yeah, this week,
luxury. Like you always pay for express postage when you buy something online. It just wouldn't even be an option to not get express. Like just little things like that to help you out day to day.
Yep.
Like
yeah. So this week,
your fuel tank up from empty instead of putting just $50 in a time.
Yep.
You just fill it up. Anyway, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this week we're blending Blake's realm of cheesy reality TV with my passion for weird and wacky dramas as we review Squid Game: The Challenge. And at the end of this episode, we're going to give our winners' predictions as we're recording 48 hours ahead of the finale. So
and
the show is...
know the final 3 contestants currently.
Yes.
I already know who I think is going to win, and it's not the same person I want to win. I'll say that now.
Yep. So yeah, we're inspired by the South Korean drama TV series Squid Game. In Squid Game: The Challenge, 456 real-life contestants compete in a series of high-stakes children's games in pursuit of a $4.56 million cash prize, making it the largest single cash prize in game show history.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Better than like that $50,000 the couples have to split on Love Island.
Yeah. Yeah, the previous prize record of reality TV was $2.6 million, won by Andrew Kravis on the 1,000,000-second quiz. So it's like over double that prize.
Any others you can rattle off quickly that might be like around $1 million, like in an Australian? Oh, the
Who wants
block probably.
the block probably has big ones, but
They
then
get like 1. I think swear the winners this year, Steph and Jar got 1.4 million.
yeah, and then there was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Someone won $1 million on that.
Well, you'd want to hope so. I mean, called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
yeah, but not many people got that far. Lots of people won like the smaller, like the 250, the 500s.
It's shit now. They don't even have. It's not like it used to. It's just like hot seat. They win like 50 grand.
Like, yeah, it's 100%.
Shrapnel.
Do you want to watch Millionaire Hot Seat or do you want to watch The Chase? And it's The Chase all day, every day.
I'd rather watch the I don't know, the back of my toilet bowl than either of those shows.
You're watching Channel 10's 5 o'clock news.
Bram, turn the TV off.
He's off at the beach. He's gone.
Yeah, I'll probably at the beach. Big beach guy now.
So
right, where we start?
They began filming this in January 2023 across 2 studios in the UK called Cardington Studios in Bedford and on 6 giant sound stages in Barking, London. And strangely, Netflix changed up their sort of release cadence with this show. They didn't drop the entire batch in one sitting to binge it. They released it in 3 waves. So we got episodes 1 to 5 in the first wave, episodes 6 to 9 in the second wave, and then we're getting episode 10 later this week. Before we sort of dig into it, what did you think of it?
Look, I don't know how to say this politely, but I hated everything about it. Straight up.
I'm stunned because I thought you were going to love this.
No, I don't know. I'm going to go into depth why I hate it so much, but something that could have contributed to making it like more tolerable would be if it was an episode a week. I think, or
I don't know. I think that would have pissed me off more with the way they handle like cliffhanger endings in every single episode.
Or made them half an hour episodes, maybe at the most. I just feel like off the bat, and it gets worse as the less contestants there are. I just feel like there's so much unnecessary like dragging out and filming of all these long games, but then all of a sudden it's like they're rushing. Then they've like got to cull half the people. Then the next game they sort of drag it out. Then they cull heaps more people. Then they do these pointless little like mind game things that aren't even physical or anything, and they're just like just to cull people. It's like they've started to rush it, especially at the end. Like there's some games that it's like, oh, we have to eliminate 12 people. Now this one we have to eliminate 9 people. Then no one leaves until the 6 people left. Like what? Like it just felt like I got very rushed at the end. But then dragged out.
There are some games that are like intentionally like slow to try and draw out that pull on the heartstrings and like make you feel sorry for certain people, and it's like, okay, can we just get through it?
It's so hard to watch.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like the interviews, like it was Survivor or something. It was just strange, and then everyone's it's sort of filmed, and like people are there like it's Big Brother. And I've got a question for you, Jamie. I'm curious. How long do you think they were in there for? Did you mention before how long it took to film the whole thing?
No, they were in there for a while though. I think they were in there for
like how many
3
nights?
or 4 weeks.
What?
Like, they were there for ages.
I would have thought 3 or 4 nights max.
No, because like they were saying, like,
did they get to go outside or anything?
No, they stayed in that dorm the entire time. No windows, no sunlight.
All right, my biggest concern with this early on when I first started watching it, I was like, how much or how many of these people are getting paid to be on there? Like, so it was just so cringe. Some of the carry on and like the acting, and I still like as it goes on, like there's a lot of crying and a lot of like pure emotion, which is so excessive, especially from Maya, player 287, the old lady, glasses.
Yep.
Bruh, who's cutting onions every time. She just carries on. Every time someone leaves, she cries and like beating that guy on the chest. Why? Like, oh my God. So that just ruled out doubts that it is real. But I still stand by the first few episodes. There were definitely paid actors in this.
Oh, yeah.
I stand by that.
Yeah, especially like that red light, green light. There was definitely some people in there that were plants.
There was just some carry. I don't know. But
Yeah.
there was raw, like I said, there was raw emotion. There's definitely real people.
Yeah, because I one of my notes I wrote down was like, you may not want to watch this, but as soon as you do, it's got like this addictive quality because of those like cliffhanger endings. You kind of want to see
That's what I mean.
the resolutions, but yeah,
The
it's
first episode was
goofy
really
and
hard
wacky.
for me to get through. Like, so many cringe, irritating people. Then I sort of wanted to push through. The second episode, I'm like, what the hell am I watching this for? But then, like you said, you do get invested. As hard as it is to watch, like, you're like, God, man, I need to know what other games are on and need to know what happens. Like, you get. But in saying that, it could, I could easily live the rest of my life without watching the final episode that comes out.
But yeah, like I was like on TikTok, a bunch of the contestants have been posting like, this is what my experience was, and that a lot of people like called out a lot of people called him out on the picnic, and like, why would you pick someone that you're friends with knowing that they're probably screwing with you and this is going to be like a trap? And a lot of them
too early on to tell that was going to be one of them traps.
Well, a lot of them said that was like after, I think that was like between 8 and 10 days between like their last challenge or doing anything.
Really?
So they were like, oh yeah, fuck, we're excited for something. So we just like, oh, they're actually going to be nice to us now after all of this time. And that's why people were picking their friends, except for the one Aussie dude who was like, I'm just going to hang back and be by myself.
Yeah, how good was that? I thought, I'm like, surely someone's about to step up here and see if they can swap partners for this marbles game, or because they didn't. It wasn't clear to us that you weren't allowed to do that. Like, they've obviously been briefed and told what you can and can't do, but we don't know that.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, surely someone's going to say, hey, who wants to swap partners?
Yeah, I think once you picked a basket, you weren't allowed to, but yeah. So
what did you think of some of those marble games? I reckon that was everyone got way too emotional before they played marbles. Hey,
yeah, I guess because they all picked their friends, so like they felt like they were like.
What was your favorite marbles game?
I had to laugh at the girls trying to throw theirs into the watering can that had the fucking handle over the hole. Could you have made it any harder for yourselves?
Yeah, there was a couple that were questionable.
I think the mum and son had the best one. Like, it was.
Yeah, that was just classic marbles, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a throwing game, but then it had like rings for scoring.
That was weirdly competitive for like a mother and son who essentially, well, they would have, if one of them won, they would have split the money.
Yeah, they're splitting it.
And essentially what's yours is theirs anyway. So,
yeah.
My favourite was the two blokes who waited until there was like 5 seconds left and they just threw one each.
Closest to the wall?
Closest to the wall, one. I'm like, that's how you do it. Just chill for like the 20 minutes. And when there's 10 seconds left, quickly throw one, and that's it, all over. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Just take everything out of it, pure chance.
And then I laughed at...
just argued the whole time. Then they didn't come up with anything.
And then the bloke that like wouldn't agree to any of the games, and then he eventually relented and said, okay, we'll both throw with our non-dominant hands, and then whoever wins, wins. And then he cheated.
Which one was it? So I know the guy, but what was the girl he was with? And she's like saying he was being heaps stubborn, but she was the one being stubborn who like
they were both as stubborn as each other. Like neither of them wanted to give in. But then they agreed. Like, we'll both throw left-handed because we're both right-handed. And then old mate throws with his right hand.
Oh, you got to cheat, bro. I
was like, you cheating prick.
I honestly, I would have done the same. But those two, they pissed me off. Like, I'm like,
yeah, how are these
people skills so bad?
Yeah,
and how about the deaf girl and that old guy? Oh my god, bro!
That conversation got so awkward so fast.
A piece of shit. I'm so glad he didn't win. Let's just wind it back a bit. the cookie cutter with like the
Yep.
fortune cookie. Is it just me? Like people were starting to spit in it to get it wet.
Mhm.
I thought straight away I would wee in it, the tin. I can't
I
believe no one
guess
did
you
that.
could do that, but then you're gonna go and have to lick the fucking thing.
You know, why do you have to lick it? It's just let it sit and piss. Then you just cut it out. Done.
I guess you could do that.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah. I guess because they
You
were
know
all
what, maybe-
thinking, I'm gonna have to lick it at some point.
What goes out must go back in.
Oh,
But
God.
because that what made me think of that is the guy that was kept throwing up, which really got on my nerves. That bloke. I'm like, but he was one of the highest paid actors. I thought. I'm like, is
Yeah,
this
he was
guy
very
for
over the top.
real? Absolute carry on. And I thought he was going to throw up in it. At one point, I was like, is he making himself throw up so he can throw up in the tin?
Yeah, no, he was just
Then that's what
incredibly
made me. I'm
anxious,
like, well, if
apparently.
you can throw up in the tin, like, why don't you just piss in the tin?
Yep. But with that game too, because that was a game taken directly from the show, I was
Yeah.
like, knowing what the game is totally changes the dynamics of the like choice element of like which shape do you want to choose? Because everyone knew I don't want the fucking umbrella. Like
Oh, that was another one.
every single person knew I don't want the umbrella. And that totally changes the dynamic compared to the original Squid Game where nobody knew what they were choosing or why they were choosing it.
Yeah, why they were choosing that.
Yeah.
I don't know. On the other end, it made it more entertaining because everyone was fighting over something and they knew what was happening. Then
It
people
made
were
it funnier
disappointed.
that they made people go in and choose for the entire line of people behind them.
Oh no, bro. There's so much tension. I'm sure there was fisticuffs and brouhahas in the dorm. I have a feeling the first person to finish and cut their thing out was an umbrella, though, wasn't it?
No, because they all went separately, didn't they? I think they sent in
Did they?
yeah, they sent them in their lines, like
Oh yeah,
all the circles went, all the
yeah.
triangles.
I should have mixed them up.
Yeah, well, that's what it did in the actual show. Like they just put them all in at once.
But this is TV.
Yeah. But yeah,
Um,
like, going right back to the start, a couple of the early notes I wrote down were there were some crazy cocky competitors, like the
bloke,
American like jock bloke. He
said he played for football for Clemson.
Yeah, he was ridiculous. And then the French
He was trying to be tough, hey? He was like fully staunching and like threatening guys.
yeah, in the hallway, like trying to
So people like that, like it was just made it so hard to watch early on. I'm like, this is shit. And when those people left, like a few episodes in, I'm like, oh, this is getting a bit more watchable because all those dickheads just left.
It got to being like normal, regular people that you knew
like
could probably use this
people.
money.
Which that's just natural selection.
Yeah.
It's like
But then the
annoying people, the people playing the game, the alphas, they all just get targeted and sent on their way.
Yeah. And the crazy cocky French bloke, he pissed me off straight away too.
Oh my god, he was
the like so over the top gay Frenchman.
Bro, he sucked. He was probably my top 3 most hated.
Yeah. Especially in the first episode where he's going around like tricking people into giving their food.
He went up and got seconds.
Yeah. And then he's going around to other people being like, oh, if you're not going to finish it, like, I'm happy to help.
He said something.
He ended up having like 6 meals or something.
Oh, that's right. When they the ladies went and cut up oranges to give to people, he was so rude about it, hey? He thought it was like a trap. Yep. He's like, I don't want fucking oranges. I'm like, shut the fuck up, mate.
Like, Jesus, mate. Yeah, he was a dick.
He was a dick. I didn't like like you said, the guy that played for Clemson early on and throughout the whole thing. TJ, that was my guy.
Which one's TJ?
Looked like Mookie Betts, taller black guy, tats, always like took control, bit of a leader. Yep. He was mad. Big fan of TJ the whole way through. He was cool.
Is he the guy that like took charge on the bridge?
Yeah,
and kept saying
number 1 on the bridge.
Oh, what did he keep saying? Oh, attack the moment. Every time he said attack the moment, I was like, what the fuck does that even mean?
He said he played pro
basketball or something.
Basketball.
Yeah.
while we're talking about the bridge, can we just quickly say, I'm a big fan of that system they came up with
No fucking way.
until that actually chick decided to ruin it.
No, she did. No, I'm not going in front of anyone. We picked an order, and that's the order we're going in until it's my turn to lead.
It made perfect sense. So, like, everyone gets one shot of having a guess, then all go
That's
through.
fine. I totally could tell why the low numbers wanted to do that.
Yeah.
If I'm
don't
number
know, that-
30, fuck you all.
But the chick who disagreed was like number 4.
Yeah, good on her.
She was, I didn't, yeah. Then look at
Nah,
that.
I'm all for her. Like, we're playing for $4.5 million. I'm looking out for me. Everyone else, so you can get stuffed.
I know, but then you got to be careful because then you do shit like that and you put a target on your back.
Yeah,
So look what happened.
But she didn't agree to it. She said from the start, "I don't agree to this."
Yeah, but then old mate, she was only number 4, so she was early. So then everyone after was going to hate her. Then old mate died or didn't die, got
Eliminated,
if you will, eliminated because he jumped 3 times. Then she's like, all right, I agree to do it now after she finally got one. It's when she carried on and said that, like, look, I finally agree to do it now because I've just jumped successfully. That was shit. That was a shit go.
To be fair, at that point, she was at the front. So it's like, I wouldn't have gone past her. I'd be like, screw you. You keep going.
She got it coming for her because then player 2, no, check 8-7, Maya, got it back. But then Maya turned into a quick top 3 least favourite players of mine. Her behaviour in the last couple of episodes was appalling.
Was it though? Like,
No,
she called the other woman out for not being a team player, and then went and did the same shit to her.
No, yeah, but that was 3 games.
Like, she got gaslit into being like, "Oh yeah, I shouldn't be calling you out. You did the right thing."
It should have been even after that.
They were both just as shit at each other. Like,
I was all for her picking her for the dice game to get her back for what she did, but then after that, it should have been clean slate. Then they just embarrassed themselves after that. Maya started embarrassing herself after that.
Also, in that dice game, like, we're down to the last 10 players at that point.
Yeah.
You're an idiot if you nominate yourself. You deserve to go home if you nominate yourself.
They all agreed to it though. That's what they're going to do.
I would never agree to that. Like, at some point, when you're paying for $4.5 million, you have to get selfish. And if the top 10 is not the point where it's like, I'm looking out for myself now.
Yeah.
When is? At what point do you go, right, I'm out for myself now?
What was the last game I just watched? Oh, yeah. I was going to say about that dice game. That chick was always rolling a 6 as soon as she said it. As soon as, like, the one she plays backgammon, she always rolls a 6. And she said, I always roll a 6, but I really don't want to now. I'm like, well, you're obviously going to roll a 6 now, aren't you? Like, well, that was always going to happen, wasn't it?
Yep. What did you think of the ink packets as the, like, signifier for being eliminated to sort of mimic the being shot?
I thought it was good, but what I didn't like about it, I had to, like, play dead. That was pretty lame.
Yeah, they had to act like they were shot afterwards.
They obviously told him to play dead. I thought that's a bit shit.
Yeah, that kind of made it a bit goofy, but
yeah, I didn't mind the idea of, like, the ink. Funny early on, some people got splatter up in the face. Hey, like,
shot up in the head.
And went in the face. Others, it just sort of went off in their chest. No, I thought that was fair. But yeah, I didn't. It was pretty cringe how they made him, like, play dead.
Yeah. So then, what did you think of the first game, red light, green light? I thought they did a fantastic job of recreating what we saw in Squid Game.
But yeah, that was expected. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty early on. I think a lot of people got a bit hard done by though, eh?
It's hard to tell because the way this was edited, it looked like it took maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
How long did it take? What was it meant to?
It took them between 8 or 9 hours to complete that game.
What?
Yeah. That's why all of the contestants are coming on there as being like, the way this show is edited is ridiculous because that game in the show takes maybe 10 minutes total.
Because the chick like collapsed. Hey, she just gave up.
The girl that did the squat,
Yeah.
it looks like she was in that squat for like 30 seconds. It's like, is she seriously not able to hold a squat for
I'm
that
like,
long?
are you fucking like, what the hell's wrong with you? But
She was
she's
in
probably
that
had
squat
for an hour.
She was in that squat for nearly half an hour. I'm like,
So this is what?
as soon as she did it, I went, why the fuck would you squat?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell did you do that? Like, what?
Even
what
if you are only
absolute
there
idiots.
for 10 seconds, like, why are you doing that?
So that makes sense. So that's a bit of context for you.
Yeah.
I almost want to go back and rewatch it now just to see their reactions and like knowing that they've been there for 8 hours and see
Yeah.
looks on people's faces and shit.
And
Yeah, I would have thought it was just like a 15-minute game.
Nah, 8 to 9 hours. Like there was
There you go.
a lot of the pauses were between 20 and 30 minutes before moving again. So it was really hard to like stay perfectly still, which is where the people that were like running and then dropping flat to the ground, I was like, that's a genius play because it's really easy to not move when you're face down.
That
on the
makes
ground.
complete sense. Yeah, I noticed people doing that. I'm like, that's a heaps good idea.
And apparently it was also incredibly cold in that room, which is why you were seeing lots of people running around with their hands in the jacket pockets instead of like just running normally to run really fast.
I was wondering why they were doing that.
And it's that particular game that has created a bunch of controversy afterwards, with a number of the contestants threatening to sue the production because it was 8 or 9 hours in the cold in just their thin tracksuits that they were told, don't zip it up because we need to be able to see the ink explode.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, they were all like, it was that cold. We were like,
when did you say it was started filming in January? That's like the peak of winter in the UK.
Mm-hmm. It would have been really cold.
I know actually what I thought about with the hands in the pockets was it's just easier sort of to like be still and just sort of rest, take your weight into the pockets and just sort of relax a bit. It's like harder to get busted moving.
Yeah, and you're not going to accidentally move your fingers to just keep blood flow or something. So, but yeah, it was because it was cold and they were just trying to stay warm.
Interesting to know. That's huge information.
Yeah, that changes the whole dynamic of that game because you're watching 5 minutes like, how is this girl not able to hold a squat for that long? How are these people like
I honestly
so exhausted by the end of it? It's like, oh, that's why.
I honestly want to go back and rewatch it now just to pick up on other things. Just red light green right though. Another favorite that was eliminated early, Rick, the old guy. It was a real one.
Yep.
Big Rick guy.
He was he in the Gumbu gang?
Gungu gang. Yeah, he was.
Ringleader,
he come up with it. Yeah, he was good. I was sad when he left. Because he got hard done by too, eh? He was left in a shit way. One of those shit games where they like people eliminate each other or like they just cull heaps of people. He got culled. He got mass culled.
Yeah. What did you think of 198 who answered the phone twice in a row or 2 or 3 times in a row? And then he tried to lie to people and say, if you go and pick up the phone, you can get a chocolate muffin. I was like,
yeah, he
that's the worst lie of all time.
Yeah, it was so shit.
Especially when he's running up to people that everyone knows he doesn't like.
He was so like fixated too on answering the phone. It's like that's just the only thing he was going to do.
Yeah, it was always going to backfire on you. Like, yes, the first one's going to be good to get people to answer it the next time, but don't answer it the second time, you idiot.
Yeah, he made an absolute mess of that at the end. Only had himself to blame. But yeah, there was a lot of games, like I said, the games there that sort of just felt rushed, and all of a sudden they just eliminated half the people for doing nothing.
Yeah,
I think there were ones where
there was like popularity contest ones that were like, that's shit.
I didn't like it. The worst one was the one at the end, or the second or third last episode, where
the girls all teamed up.
That one where you're like picking your football team at lunchtime at school.
Yeah.
And whoever missed
every person
goes.
Every person that got picked got to pick the next person.
Yeah, that was easily the shittest way to go out, I think. That was the worst one.
Also, controversial take. Can you imagine the absolute shit show on social media and everywhere if all the blokes teamed up to do that to the women?
Get me started.
Like it was all dudes that got eliminated because all the girls supported each other. I'm like, if group of 10 blokes did the exact same thing, everyone would
Bro.
lose their mind.
The show wouldn't be already taken down before the final episode comes out.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's like
I'm all
for like equality and stuff, but that's
not
taking it a
equality.
bit far. You just screwed out 12 guys or 12 people on life-changing money.
When they started doing it, I was like, oh my God, they're actually going to pull this off. I was like, this is so smart. Like, then a couple of the girls picked the boys. I'm like, yeah, no, that's my girl.
Yeah, but they picked boys that they knew the boys would do as they were
it's-
told and pick a girl on the next one.
Yeah, when like tactical stuff like that came off, it was good. But then when like they overanalyze things and it just backfired, I'm like, oh, yeah, boy, just that was not the time to try to play tactical. You're playing the game too much. But yeah, that was probably the shittest way for the people to go.
Oh, 100%. Any of those ones where it was just like, oh, pick your friends, and everyone else gets screwed.
Oh, this
Which I guess it like plays into the whole like social dynamic, but it's also I would feel cheated to get kicked out that way.
Yeah, this is obviously gonna be a spoiler, but I'm waiting for backlash of the final three. They're all in a suit, even the girl. Like, surely they could have just given her like a dress or something. Like,
I guess maybe they offered her a dress and she chose a suit.
Yeah, I was wondering. I also wonder if they got like fitted up and got those suits tailored, or they just asked for their size when they filled out the form when they signed up.
Just off the rack suits. I did like that they did change it up a little bit in in this version of the show where they got rid of the tug of war game. I thought that was really cool, and they brought in.
They had that one.
They brought in warships instead, which is just battleship ripoff.
What was your favorite game? You think? Like most entertaining, most tense.
Glass Bridge was probably the most intense and the most like entertaining when we had that in the early stage when we had that sort of argument bit going. But then once it got past that, it was like, okay, now it's just let's get it rolling. You've only got 20 minutes left, and they were taking forever.
Bro, and at one point they had a minute 45 left, and they like had so many of them to get across, and they were just hugging and shit. I was like, hurry
5 more things to go.
But
yeah, I liked warships. I just think it definitely got dragged out too long. Like we saw the first two battles, and they were cool, like to watch because it had like a lot of the key players that we wanted to see either get through or get eliminated. But then like the next like 3 or 4 battles, it just kept going. And I was like, okay, now we've lost the entire pace of this episode.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like some of the games just dragged. I'm like, oh, why are they showing this?
Actually, the game I liked the best was the final one we've seen so far, the Circle of Trust. I thought that was such a cool game.
At first, I was like, oh my God, this is like, I hate this. Like, they need to cull half the people again. I'm like, like just another mat, and it's not really. But the further it went in, I was like, this is actually great. 451, the dude with the long hair, absolutely nailed that. Hey, and it was entertaining. Like, you get an acting gig out of this show.
I thought he was a bit over the top, but it was like
it was great. I reckon.
I was stunned he got it twice. He picked the person that gave him the gift twice in a row. I was like, wow.
Something happened to that. There was another game previously that Maya lady got some twice. Did she guess as correctly twice too, or just once?
Just once, I think.
There was a couple of little backfired situations there.
Yeah. Like when the girl from the bridge and Maya, when they had their argument, if I was the girl from the bridge, when it was my turn to give out the gift, I would have put it on Maya. Because I don't think she ever would have chose her because it's too obvious.
Yeah, you can easily like look over, analyze it, and like think of different alternatives, or maybe you just have to do the obvious choice.
That's it. Because like Maya's going to look at it and be like, well, she wouldn't give it to me because we've had our little beef, and that's an obvious person to give it to.
I'm trying to go back through. There was a game I liked, and I thought it was the best. I completely forgot what it was now. The most tense.
Red light, green light, the cookie cutter challenge.
Yeah.
marbles, glass bridge, the dice roll, and then circle of trust.
Is that it?
I think there might have been a couple of other ones, but they were like real quick. Just like nothing games.
Yeah, well, you got like the claw machine and shit like that, obviously.
Yeah, but that was just to set up the
Yeah.
um
Bloody
yeah,
hell,
we had
what was
red
it?
light, green light,
There was a Jack in the Box as well.
decision test, which was the carrots where they got to eliminate 2 people. The cookies, the phone test, warships. Oh, the voting where they all had to like go up and
Yeah.
punch in the numbers of people to vote for.
That was very tactical too.
Yeah, that was rough. As soon as you were one of the first 3, you were so screwed.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, it's easy for me to just add to that tally.
Yeah, because nobody wanted to be seen as putting a new name up there.
I
The
actually thought
Jack in the Box, that was pretty intense.
Sorry, I actually thought with that game, would it have been smart to vote for yourself? Did someone do that? But then you run the risk of everyone jumping on you.
Yeah, just piling on you.
It was a very tricky one, that.
Because, yeah, nobody wanted to put up a new name. So it was just like, once there's 3 names up there, everyone's just going to pick one of those 3, which is pretty much what happened. It was the first 3 people nominated were the 3 people gone.
Yeah, it was the whole thing was very tactical. I would have liked more physical games. Like you said, tug of war would have been freaking excellent. I was expecting
they
they were expecting it, weren't they?
Yeah, there weren't really any physical games. They were all like mental or trying to play up the dynamics between people, like the loyalties.
Yeah, it was like a big social experiment, hey?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Stanford prison experiment. Just mind studies.
But yeah,
watching
like
how people act.
I loved that whole circle of trust one where it was just like, oh yeah, it's basically like Duck Duck Goose, but
yeah, that guy made it entertaining, hey?
Yeah. But yeah, during my one note during Glass Bridge, well, actually, I wrote a few notes. I was like, they spent too much time on the order selection for the Glass Bridge, which kind of with the claw machine that took too long. And then of course the person with the low number pitched you pick one and then the next person goes past you. I was like, yeah, of course. Number 30 is not offering to do that.
Yeah.
The House of Mirrors effect for the drops, there was another little editing bit of trickery going on here. None of the contestants actually dropped through the bridge.
Talk to me.
So the way they did it is they'd jump and then they'd have to stand there and then the voice would come over and say whether you were eliminated or not.
Yeah.
And that's where they filmed to get everyone's reaction behind them. But then they would pause, that person would leave, a stunt double would come in, stand there, and then they would film that person falling through the bridge down onto like a big padded thing.
That's so shit.
Because
Why would they do that?
Because it's too risky to drop someone that's not trained from that height to fall that far, because if they land on their head, they're fucked. Even if it is like a big air cushion, like if you land on your head, still break your neck. But then yeah, my other note for that was, it's not a team game. No way I'm passing Ashley after she refused. Like, you're at the front now, you keep going, bitch.
Nah, yeah, like I said, I didn't like how she carried on there. I'm just skimming through now. I'm trying to. I can't believe I can't remember the game that I was like, yeah, this is the most entertaining. And it mustn't have been that great because I can't even remember. It must have been Glass Bridge.
Yeah, or the voting one. I think the voting one was pretty cool. That was intense. And again, I think that was another one where the Aussie bloke like stayed right to the back. It's like, you're a genius. And then he got screwed on the girls voting him out.
Yeah, that's shit. That pissed me off. How there was some good people just
got screwed over. Yeah,
like who didn't get a chance to like thrive.
And then yeah, the other couple of notes I had was like the sets. The sets were phenomenal. Like they looked exactly like the show.
They did a very good job.
Notice it was all public domain, classical music throughout the season as well, so they didn't have to pay any money for music. on the show. And then, yeah, I just had some little trivia bits. So is there anything else you wanted to talk about in terms of the games?
I've pretty much spoken my concerns and disdains with just like how many people were culled for doing nothing, or how many. I just didn't like how many people, like how many times contestants had a power to eliminate others just for doing nothing, or
Yeah.
it just
Yeah,
felt right. Like you said, all these
way too many popularity contests.
everything dragged out, but then yeah, like you said, this felt like they were rushing it all the time to like when they were culling so many people at once.
Yeah.
And like you
So
said,
yeah,
I wish there was more physical games.
yeah. So the trivia bits I wrote were the prize money, also with 456 actual players. This series claims to have the largest cast in reality TV history, which is pretty crazy. Which makes sense. Like, what other reality show is going to have 450 people?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
normally, like 10 or
Australian
12.
Idol. Australian Idol. How many people will try out for that?
Yeah,
20,000.
a lot of people audition, but how many actually
Audition,
make it
yeah.
onto the show?
Was 456 the number of the main character from the original? Was he 456? The final number?
Maybe. I can't
I think he
remember.
was he?
Yeah. And then this show became the most watched show globally on Netflix with 85.7 million hours watched during the first release week. Which is pretty crazy.
Of this one.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. It reached number 1 in 74 different countries in that first week, including the USA and UK, and top 10 in a further 19 countries. It was definitely top 10 here in Australia.
Backtracking here a bit, what did you think of the representation of different nationalities, I guess? Because it was like mainly Americans, handful of Poms, maybe 2 Australians. That's pretty much it. There was no one from Asia. Like Asian heritage, Americans with Asian heritage, yeah, but there was like no Asians, was there?
Not really, no.
No Africans.
No.
It's mainly Americans, majority Americans.
Yeah, and then the French bloke. I think there was some like Brazilians and Spanish.
Yeah, hardly any Europeans, eh?
Yeah.
Unless that was just too hard basket to have that language barrier on camera, so they didn't really make like main characters out of those people.
Actually, I think that was one of the rules when you applied. I think you had to speak English.
Yeah, that's so fair.
Which, yeah, would have been because they want it to be on the show without having to translate it. And so people talking code as well, I guess, so that everybody knew what everyone was doing.
Wait, on that note, well, that chick was deaf for starters.
Yeah, but she can still speak.
The son of the mum. He mentioned he had his lung collapsed 6 months before that.
Yeah, that was another one where I was like,
surely that's a bit of a liability.
Depends what they did. If they fixed it with a pleurodesis, his lung ain't collapsing again.
Yeah, right.
He also
I just thought
overblew that whole situation as well. Like, I've had 3. A lung collapse is bad, but it's not as bad as he fucking made it out to be.
Yeah, I just thought that surely you can't have like underlying health issues like that going into like an environment like that.
I guess as long as he disclosed it, they would have just said like, yeah, our liability doesn't cover this.
Yeah.
And then, I mentioned the controversies with the contestants threatening to sue. There was also supplies ran really low in the dorm at one point.
Shocked, I am not.
Contestants claiming that like the food they got was shit and very limited. So that's why they were so desperate to get that picnic.
It was war rations. Also, the picnic was shit though, wasn't it? It was like an orange juice and
fruit and juice and stuff. But then they were also so desperate for chapsticks because it was obviously air conditioned in that room to keep it not freezing cold. So they were that desperate for chapsticks. A bunch of them ended up using lubricated condoms on their lips.
Did they have Frangers there for him?
Yes.
Oh
Which
my
makes
God.
sense when they're locking all of these people in a dorm for months.
I wonder if there was hanky panky.
There 100% would have been.
I would love to know. My money's on. There was a lot of gay guys. My money's on all the gay guys.
Yeah, Blake
And
wants
there was
a
a lot of them.
Squid Game after dark.
Oi!
Squid Game up late, like Big Brother up late used to have.
No. We need it. I want some of these contestants to start going on podcasts and spilling beans. They'll do the circuit, surely. A lot of them will do the circuit.
Yeah, I've just seen a bunch of them on TikTok using
Any people like
blow up their
building
TikTok fame.
Instagram images, like profiles, so to speak, going full post-reality show influencer.
Yeah, I don't think so yet. Just all TikTok and off that.
I'll get there.
But yeah, there was there's also the whole series kind of is mired in a bit of controversy as well, because the whole show is all about like society like profiting off people's bad luck and misfortune. And even the writer of the original Squid Game, Hwang Dong-hyuk, his contract with Netflix, when he actually finally sold the rights to this show after he had to sell his laptop that he wrote this on just to have enough money to get by. And then he had the printed out copy, sold it to Netflix, but the contract said that he forfeited all intellectual property rights, which meant he was guaranteed no residuals for anything beyond the fee that they paid him up front, which is why they've been able to make Squid Game the challenge, because he doesn't get any money out of it. And like the original Squid Game reportedly increased the value of Netflix by $900 million and accumulated over 1.5 billion streaming hours. So like he got a small fee out of it, and now they can make
fees are going up still.
Yep. So now they can make Squid Game the challenge. They can make Squid Game like video games, whatever, and he gets nothing out of it.
Squid Game coming out. You didn't know that?
Mm-hmm. So I think he might get a fee for that because he's writing it, but he's getting nothing for this, even though it is capitalizing off his IP.
I didn't know this was real, like a reality show, until I started watching it. I thought this was just like the sequel or the second season.
This is a reality show. I applied for this show.
Did ya?
100%. $4.5 million. Of course I applied for this shit.
How did I know about that?
Yeah.
I was actually going to say when it popped up, the final three, do you reckon they'll like maybe, or if they could agree to split it at thirds, but then I noticed that the last game has two people.
Yeah, because there's a game at the dinner where one person will get eliminated, and then the final.
Well, it still works. The final three, you'd be like, all right, whoever wins, well, let's split it.
I guess. I guess it would depend on what the contract is that they wrote.
Yeah. There might be something like that. That'd be so hard to trust.
Probably the contract. How can you trust the other person to actually come and find you afterwards to give you the money?
It's like workplaces or doing like a group lotto or something, like putting $10 in each between like 20 of them and winning.
Yeah, whoever has the fucking lotto ticket is the one with all the money.
Well, hey, I'm the one that put it on. There's no written contract. Like, you just all gave me $10 because you hear about it. It happens. Like workplaces fighting and shit over that.
Yeah, old mate just cashes it in and pisses off.
Yeah, 100%. It'd be, once you got that sort of money, it would give you that much power. Like, you just don't.
That's why, if I'm ever entering a syndicate, I want to do it through.
There's got to be a contract. There actually has to be a contract.
One of the registered syndicates where everyone just puts in their money into a pool and then it buys it from there.
Yeah.
So,
who's winning?
Yeah, who are you picking? So the final three are Sam, player 016, my player 287, and Phil, player 451. So I think Phil gets eliminated first.
We don't know the next game, though, do we?
No.
We know the final game. I want Phil to win.
Ooh, I think Phil gets eliminated.
He's
too nice.
He was actually entertaining, and for once, he was a player that didn't irritate me during that blindfold duck
Yeah.
goose game.
Also,
He was
like,
meant to-
in saying that he was too nice, he was also pretty shifty in that second last game. In that,
Oh yeah. But who do I think's going to win? Maya.
yeah, I think
it's just a given, bro.
I think she makes it to the final and wins. I
What, has
also think she might be
Has
a
she got
plant.
Korean heritage? Does she? Or
I think so. That's
well,
what
there you
I
go.
think she's
There's
a
your
plant.
winner.
I think she's like a producer.
There you go.
Like in the original Squid Game, the final two, one of them was a producer. And I
Yeah,
think it's
well,
play.
there's your winner, bro.
Yeah. And yeah, I think Sam is the other one that makes it to the final two purely because we didn't see him until episode 9.
So many people just slip through the cracks, eh?
We
Like, who
didn't
the
see
hell are
him
you?
at all. And then all of a sudden he's in the final 6 people. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Where's he been? Which is how I knew a lot of those early people weren't making it far. I'm like, if you're getting highlighted now, they're doing that so we get attached to you. So then when you get eliminated, it hurts.
Yeah, smart. I didn't think of it like that. But, and those are all the most irritating people too, so I'm glad they fucked off early.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was like, if you didn't get highlighted in the first 5 or 6 episodes, you were going pretty far.
I'm sad old mate Rick didn't make it far or further. Farther.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Sam makes it to the final 2, but loses to Maya. And yeah, I think she's a plant. And I think ends up just being, oh, look, the winner is Netflix. $4.56 million. We don't have to pay shit.
Can you imagine oh my god, can you imagine the rights of the contestants? If
Yeah, people will be pissed. So she's probably not a plant, but be cool.
Like if they're already carrying on.
Yeah, people would 100% sue them if that was the case.
Because I'm a sucker and I've got nothing better to do, I will be watching the final episode.
So it'll be interesting to see who wins. Overall, what would you rate Squid Game, the challenge, given we haven't seen the final episode yet?
Well, I think it's gonna, if it plays out like I think it's going to, like I just explained, that means it's going to be even more of a disaster of a show. Like I said, I'd be happy just not even watch it now because I'm going to get further disappointed. But I'm giving this 1 waste of time out of 5.
Wow. Terrible, avoid at all costs is what you're saying.
Yeah, 100%. Like I've told a few people and I've said, don't even bother watching it. Like, I could have easily lived my life without watching it. Like, don't waste your time. This is don't waste your time for me. It's rare. I don't give something like a 4 or above on this show, but it's just don't waste your time. There's better shit.
Best part is you wanted to watch this. You wanted to watch this too.
I know, but I didn't know it was going to be shit.
When I said, hey, who wants to watch Squid Game, the challenge? Blake was like, yeah, I'm in. First in. I was like,
yeah. But I don't know. Everyone was just so annoying. So annoying. Maybe if it was full of Australians, I might have been easy to watch.
Yeah.
But they've just handpicked 400 of the most intolerable Americans and put them in a room together and then try to out-alpha each other.
It's kind of made me want to watch the Mr. Beast version. I wonder if it's any good.
So there's another bloke that irritates me. So no, I wouldn't watch that.
Oh, I've heard the Mr. Beast one is actually pretty cool. So
yeah, didn't he? He recreated the whole set, didn't he?
Yeah, he did basically this show, this version of the show, about a month and a half after the actual Squid Game show came out.
Yeah.
But his prize was only $456,000, which is still.
I remember seeing a photo, or if he's red light, green light, I was like, that is exceptional.
Yeah, he did it. And he capitalized on Squid Game's out. It's the biggest thing in the world. And he was right there, ready to go.
Yeah, he's smart, man. Hey, just quickly, too, what would be one game you would want to try in real life? With no consequences or anything, or just I want to give that a go or play that with contestants or on your own, or just I want to have a go at that.
I reckon red light, green light would be pretty fun. It'd also be.
We used to play that in school.
Yeah.
We fully did.
Yeah.
I definitely want to do the cookie thing.
Yeah.
Surely they sell kits that have those in it.
I think they do. I think there's a Squid Game game.
That would be the best like family Christmas game to play. Like hand those out at the table and give it a go.
And I reckon the gift
I
one.
might Google it after this.
The gift one would be a good one at Christmas too. Like,
oh yeah,
everyone sits around, they're blindfolded. You put a gift in front of them. If they get it right, they keep it. Like if they pick who gave them the gift, they keep the gift. And if they get it wrong, the person that put it on them gets the gift.
Yeah.
But then that, because then that ruins it because you know who's been given out stuff.
Yeah, I don't.
It'd be something fun like that.
And obviously the glass bridge would be fun as.
No, I hate heights. That is scared the bejesus out of me.
Well, there goes that one. I reckon it'd be fun to do. And yeah, the cookie gotta be sick. I'm actually gonna look up now actually if you can buy them.
Yeah, I think you can.
I'll wean it.
Don't lick it afterwards. So yeah, I rated Squid Game the Challenge 2, which on my scale is meh. Watch it if you can't find anything else.
Or go outside and go to the beach.
Yeah. Like I said, you probably don't want to watch this.
Too shit.
Yeah, like you probably don't want to watch this, but once you start, you kind of get hooked and have to finish it.
Yeah. No, I'm the same. I'm hooked. Doesn't take much.
That is Squid Game the Challenge. Thank you everyone for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow me on social media at JamieUps Media and at Pario Magazine. And you can follow Blake on Twitter at Captain Crumbs with a Z. The commentary booth is a fan-funded production of JamieUps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/JamieUpsMedia. The following people supported at the publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support.